Hello everyone, I am Tacit and welcome to the Gems of War Campaign 9, week 9, day 2, or sorry, week 2, day 5. So today, of course, we have ourselves an invasion event going on this weekend. They normally don't take too long. Over the course of a weekend, it's probably like an hour total, I would say, per person. Sometimes even quicker if the guild is almost already done, which they might be. Kind of. But anyways, we'll be doing our battles. We have had the team pinned to the stream for the last, like, what, 18 hours, approximately? 16 hours? I have no clue. It's been a while. But we also mentioned it on Monday. The pinned one has the correct actual weapon, though, because, of course, I couldn't use this weapon until today. So, of course, the new weapon that we get, I believe it's, what, 210 gems off the invasion event? I already got it right. I think it's 210. That's not where invasion event is. But if we click over to invasion, I believe it was 210. Yeah, because then it goes another 200. It's like 30, 60 something, 120. Yeah, and that would be 210 then. But anyways, so this weapon came into the game. It explodes 40 green gems, grants a random status effects to all elf allies, and then summons an elf. Pretty standard explodey weapon. One thing that's nice about it, though, is it has cleanse, so kind of like a little bit of a Gorgolfa kind of thing. Not as good on the explosion department, but still has like that similar cleanse on cast kind of mechanic. And if I'm not mistaken, isn't it the first explodey weapon to get that? I don't recall any other explodey weapon having that is specifically hero related. So it's decent. Compared to most teams, elves already are used in. Life and Death and a few other things are probably still going to be a little bit better than it in a pure elf team context. However, it's still a good mana accumulation weapon. It's going to come out from time to time. The fact does cleanse is decent. And overall, elves aren't too bad of a summon. It's a bit of a weird one, though. Most things that are elves, actually, I believe everything that is an elf has immune to mana drain, which is kind of interesting because you can end up pretty much near guarantee or guarantee summoning something that will have immune to mana drain. So if there's ever like a really heavy mana drain meta, once again, this could be a really good resummoning option for it. I would also make it pretty good against something like Famine. Though Famine's like pretty much not even used in the current state of the game, at least not anymore. It used to be ultra meta. But yeah, definitely has potential. Because isn't like nearly the entire category of elf, let me double check. Like it's at least like 90%, if not more, immune to mana drain. Because if I'm not mistaken, every single thing that has the elfing, the elf type trait has immune, that's not where you check elf, has immune to mana drain through one way or another. Because they have these ancestry traits where they have immune to mana drain. There's multiple different ones. Here's high ancestry, immune to mana drain. This one has another high ancestry. One of them has like a wood one. I can't figure out where on earth it is. I think this one. Yeah, wood ancestry, which has immune to mana drain. So basically every elf in the entire game, one way or another, essentially has immune to mana drain. Which basically makes it a immune to mana drain summoner, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't think there's even a single exception now that I'm looking at it. So yeah, that's pretty good in that regard. It doesn't really need a counter much in the current state of the game. But if there ever was a super heavy mana drain meta, that's going to be the mana accumulating weapon to go to. Of course, you can also set your hero to immune to mana drain, in which you would also set it to a elf hero class. So if we end up doing that, we'd go to something like Orb Weaver. Actually, isn't there two options? Though the other one I don't think is elf. But you could do something like Orb Weaver, which of course has immune to mana drain. So you can end up getting it that way. I could have sworn there's another one. Oh, and also it counts as an elf. I didn't show it, but of course in pure elf teams, one of the more common ones that gets used because the Life and Death Weaver kind of combo, which is still going to be the more prevalent option when it comes to using Orb Weaver, obviously. Obviously, you're not going to use the new weapon in that context. However, the weapon will find its way into some teams here and there, including today. So let's go grab the team that we mentioned in the little pinned message, and if you want to go grab it yourself, feel free to do so. Same one we mentioned on Monday, just with the correct team, or the correct weapon. That's not invasions. Well, let's go do this. So of course, invasion's pretty much the same way it always is. It gives you about 65 gems up to this point, and then you get an orb right there, and that's generally at least the minimum that you want to go in order to get a bunch of rewards and help out your guild. And of course, guild-wise, you get a bunch of additional rewards depending on how far your guild goes. Pretty standard event overall, and doesn't take that long either. So let's go get them down. Of course, the main premise of this event is killing a bunch of towers. For these super earlier battles, it might actually be a little bit quicker to not use this team. We might want to go down a Empower AoE route. We'll stick with it, it's fine. Because the biggest issue when with an all-in tower team like this one is when there's not any towers. It's a little slower because the main speed of this team comes from the amount of towers the enemy has, which normally becomes 4, obviously, during most battles. However, It's ever so slightly slower for the very early battles, but it's not that big a deal. Anyways, hello everyone, by the way. Hello! Let's see, how far back will I need to go? Though I just refreshed it recently, so it only looks like it's going back like 30 minutes. But hello, Tyrion. Hello, Daddy Shark. Hello, Defiant. Hello, Bill. Hello, Roman. Hello, Mister. Hello, Jonian. Hello, Hung. Hello, Gimli. Hello, Lester. Hello, Isabel. Hello, NASA. Hello, Roman. Hello, Mr. Jesse. Hello, everyone else. And hello, everyone who commented like probably 12 hours ago on the stream. So according to the poll, it looks like quite a few people do want us to do it this way. Though, I'm not sure if the notification went out properly. Because one reason why I make the stream actually start at, or you know, when I make the preview, normally like at the time of when the stream actually goes, is mostly because YouTube sends out an extra notification at that point, which is better to have, you know, when we're doing the stream rather than like at some random time, like 12 hours ago. Which is one of the main reasons why I tend to have a lot of times just, you know, post a preview all the way back then. Oh, we have an Easter Tower? Oh, interesting. I know this is a thing. I just forgot it would be around. But yeah, Easter's next week, by the way. Let's see. Gains a bunch of stats, deals some damage to an enemy, summons a dragon egg. Or it says dragon egg, so that's one singular troop, despite the wording. Slightly confusing wording just because the troop itself is plural. But it is one singular dragon egg, even though it says dragon eggs. But dragon eggs is the name of the troop, not the number that it is summoning. We'll take a skull. Obviously kill the Valraven. So we haven't gotten a chance to use this weapon much yet. We probably won't be for its full potential. Because when will we really be needing resummon in this mode? Like, our first slot might die ever so occasionally. Actually, it might, because it doesn't have any extra tankiness. Some invasion troops are pretty much unkillable because they have like score reduction or something similar, some dodge. But unfortunately this guy has nothing. So at the later ends he could actually die, but probably not gonna be that big a deal. And of course I gotta kill those Valraven towers. Oh, why did I do that? I already had enough to win. Whoops. I should have done is poked him after the fact, but oh well. Not too big a deal. So, say hello to Lisa as well. For me, Lester. I saw you message that earlier as well. Like before the stream even started earlier. Though I didn't see all the chat that happened from that, because the thing with YouTube with the chat thing prior to a stream is it doesn't actually record any of it. Like you can still see it if you're around, but unless you like literally have the tab open the entire time, it doesn't actually show you the past comments. Which I believe is the case even when you're coming into the stream, right? Because if you come into the stream like right now or a couple minutes ago, you wouldn't have seen the text from the beginning of the stream. You would have if you rewatched the entire stream and go like double check it or something. But as far as, you know, like actively seeing it, like you probably can't see the first comments I was saying hello to potentially. Let's see. Let's take that down. Get our AoE. Or I think that's how it works. I can't remember. I am pretty certain that is how it works, though. Unless they've changed it. Yeah, it shows the chat log, but it doesn't show, like, super far back if you just got into a stream. Like, if we were streaming for 2 hours, you would not... And you came in at, like, the second hour, or, you know, 1 hour in, you would not have seen the text from, like, half an hour prior. It has, like, a cutoff point where, it stops showing it. So hello, Clip-Bomb. Welcome. Mods can see all the way back to the beginning. You never show up late, you don't know. True. Yeah, because if you're here the entire stream, you would still be able to see back the entire time. What I'm referring to is mostly if someone comes in like midway through. But I hope all has been well, Clip-Bomb. Welcome, welcome. If anyone has any questions about invasions, do let me know. It's a pretty straightforward game mode, though. And it's a relatively quick one, too. It's like tied as one of the quicker ones in the entire game, which is actually nice that it became a weekend event, because Invasions was pretty much as quick, even when it wasn't a weekend event, which felt like kind of weird for a week-long event, because it and Raids were both pretty quick compared to the average event, but now that they're both a weekend event, it kind of makes sense that they're quicker, because, you know, they don't last as long. Whereas before, they pretty much took the same amount of time, even when they were a week-long thing. I should medal the invasion troop. We're not going to gain much of a benefit from it. Like, out of the context of today, when are we going to be using him? Because he's not that strong. He gets double enchant, which I might as well just use Divinish Ball at that point. And that's basically it. And he can kill towers pretty well, though towers... There's currently only one tower-owned troop, or one player-owned tower troop. That would be pretty cool if we got all of them, especially the festive ones. Like right now, we can see the Easter Tower, of course. However, there's like 5 different festive ones. I can't remember all of them. But several of the holidays do have like specific invasion towers that can show up. It'd be kind of cool if at least those were like ones you could obtain or something. Though even all of them would be cool. The only problem with all of them is there are 2 that would be slightly strong. The Crossbow Tower and the Bastion Tower, I believe the other one's called. Whatever the brown-blue one is. The brown-blue one's basically Gorgotha without the mana drain, but way tankier. And the Crossbow Tower is like a kind of durable troop that has a really good true damage poke, which would find its way into some true damage teams. Particularly Weaver true damage teams, probably. But then again, it mana blocks Weaver, so maybe not. Because it does full block mana on Weaver. Or vice versa, if you have it behind Weaver, though you'd probably have it in front of Weaver. But we only have one tower, and it's the, what's it called? The Leonis Tower. Which is one that doesn't even show up in Invasion ever. It's a player-owns tower only. Well, it would be cool if all the Invasion towers actually became ownable at some point. They might have to rebalance a few of them, though. But beyond that, most of them aren't that strong. Like, even in their current state. Like, even if they didn't rebalance any of them, I'm pretty sure towers still wouldn't be used that much. Because the tanky one, you'd be risking the liability of someone using a 5-time skull and just still killing it out with Enrage, because it doesn't counter Enrage. And the other one would be just like an average true damage option. That's just a bit tankier than the average true damage option. But if you compare it to Weaver, it'd be less tanky than Weaver, which would give a little incentive to use it. So yeah, it wouldn't be that broken to actually include the towers. Their most broken aspect is they have immune insta-kill. Like insta-kill, mana drain, all that kind of stuff. Every stats effect in the entire game. Like, that's the main thing that makes them strong, more so than pretty much any other aspect about them. Is just their sheer amount of immunities. Alright, now that we're getting to pure towers, these battles are actually going quicker rather than slower, which is one thing I always find funny about invasions. Is that, like, this area right here is slower than, like, when you initially hit the 4s. You're using Archer in first slot? You do know that insta-kill doesn't work, right? Like, I was considering incorporating Archer into this team, but you can't first slot Archer on this team. Because you can't insta-kill the towers. Unless you're using it as a tank. But then you'd be winning slower. What do medals do to troops? So once you have a... it's more of an endgame thing. So since you're a little bit earlier in the game, you might not be able to do too much with them currently. As you're progressing through the game, you mostly just need 3 of each of them, so that you can set them as your passive bonuses. Which is actually something I should be doing right now. I should be running 20% magic. Oh, there we go. So we do have it set. Like right now I'm running 20% mana start, which does not stack. It just takes your highest percent. So if you don't have any mana start, it's worth using. But I'm doing that with 8 magic for separate +4s. And just gives us a little bit extra stat. So having 3 of every single medal, with the only exception being Anu, which you really only need 1 of, or like the main thing you want to use medals for early on in the game, is you can have a preset of any 3 medals you want. Like here we run pure armor for a Ruane build. Here's the one I'm running for the invasion event, which we should probably go do our battles for today if it's not already done. And this is like a generic one that works for pretty much everything for the most part. 20% mana start into 8 magic. And this is what you use it for mostly earlier on in the game, but later in the game you can metal troops in order to give them additional stats. It's based on whatever their typing is. So this one's a generator, so it gains a bunch of durability. So when we get the first upgrade here, we would end up getting a little bit of HP and armor, and then a bunch more and a bunch more. But it basically just gives them a little bit extra stats. You can't do this until you have level 20 fully traded though, which means they have to be fully ascended, level 20 fully traded, and then you can metal a troop. And all it does is give them a little bit of stats. It also gives a little icon next to them that kind of shows that they've been upgraded. It's a little bit of just like a little cosmetic thing on them, technically. And it's mostly just to indicate the amount of stats that they're getting. Which I would show an example of, but I actually don't have any on my team, I just realized. You know what, maybe I should upgrade King Avalon. It just, I don't know, it wouldn't actually hurt to upgrade him, now that I think about it. With how much we use him, even though he's more expensive to upgrade, what other legends am I really holding out to upgrade right now? Because if we think how much we use King Avalon, it's actually not a small amount. He is one of those 50% mana starts. He's a 50% mana start that's used with elf teams as well, which means Guild War related teams. You know what, we're actually going to upgrade him. He gains 6 magic, which is kind of interesting. So he's a full AoE kind of thing. Yeah, let's go upgrade him. The higher the rarity of the troop, the more expensive it costs. So it's basically based on their base rarity. So like right now it is a legendary. So the best way to go do this one is with initially 3 epics to get the first level down. Then we're going to need 2 Anus if we want to have a guaranteed chance on that. And then we can either use 1 Nisha or 3 Anus, but we'll go down the route of 3 Anus. Yeah, might as well. I don't see why not. Because then we still have 19 spare Anus, which is enough to upgrade, what? Almost 4 troops. Definitely 3. I don't mind upgrading this guy. It's a bit of an investment, but we use him for Guild War defend. We use him pretty much anytime we're ever using Weaver. And a few other instances, like right now. But yeah, now he has like a little gold thing next to his thing. And he has 6 extra magic because he's a mage. And that gains 1 magic, then 2, then 3. Anyways, now he has 6 additional damage. It's not going to help us too much, but it's more so for Guild War defense. Because I don't think there's a single week I don't use him on a Guild War defend these days. I should probably deal with these Easter Towers first. They do have a resummon, which won't make him win, but it will make him be very annoying with how much he stalls, because Egg has really good durability. It's actually the lowest durability of any zero attack troop, but despite it being the lowest durability of any zero attack troop, it is still way more durability than the average troop. So it is still very tanky despite that. What is the best way to farm gems? Infinitely would be to do treasure hunt. From a long-term perspective, you tend to get it passively through a lot of things. So like hourly tribute, which becomes more and more the more kingdom upgrades you have. Guilds, the guild you're in is where you get a lot of your gems early on in the game. And a few things like that, like dailies as well, end up giving you a bunch of gems. But it tends to be something slowly obtained over time. You can obtain quite a bit of them from 2 different things, though, if you're looking to infinitely farm them. One is during Vault events, which we just had one recently last weekend, so we'll be a little while before another one rotates around, but Vault events are pretty good for them. The other one is doing treasure hunt infinitely. Most people, I don't feel like, do this these days. Though earlier on in the game, it's still pretty good loot. The only problem is having a bunch of treasure maps early on, which is kind of funny, because one of the only points where treasure maps are super worth using is earlier in the game. But the problem is earlier in the game, you barely have any treasure maps. And then by the time you have more treasure maps and you never know what to do with, treasure map isn't as good to do anymore, because you're going to have so many other means of getting gems that it's less enticing to do it. Though to this day, it is still the highest infinite gem value in the game, other than Vault events, because it gives around 50 to 70 gems per hour, assuming you already have the maps. Yeah, taking tribute as much as possible is I assume how most people get their gems these days. I feel like I only take it like several times or a few times per day these days. However, it's definitely a very good idea to do so if you are in a pinch for gems. Like, we have enough excess right now that I don't take it too often. But if you're still in the point where you need them, which a lot of people are, or if you just want access for other various things within the game, you generally want to be taking it like at least like 8 times per day, if not more. I think we pulled it earlier, and like the average in our chat was like 12 plus times or something, like 8 to 12 or something. I think the average day I take it like 5 times these days. Or it really depends how much you need gems. And the later you get into the game, the more kingdom upgrades you have, the more tribute you'll get. Like at what point you're in the game right now, I think you're probably getting like, what, 4 gems maybe per tribute on average? Whereas this late in the game, I think our average is like 21, maybe even more. It's at least 21. Obviously it keeps going higher and higher the later you get. Speaking of dailies, there's 20 gems right there. That's an easy one to do. All you have to do is kill 100 things each day. There's a 5% chance you get lucky, and you get one that takes longer, but it gives you 100 gems. Which is good whenever that comes around. Speaking of treasure maps, you remember when your mom would have you play a treasure map minigame? Back when she used to play this game a lot? That's funny. Oh gosh. That is funny. I've always joked about that in the past. I'm pretty sure there are several people in chat who have done that. They give their game to someone else to go play treasure hunts. Because you can't macro this game or anything. Like your account will end up getting banned. So some people have resorted to getting their friends and family to like mash treasure hunt over and over again. Which I have found very funny. Yeah, that's definitely a thing that happens. Mostly because it's so good for gems. Like, if you barely have any and you need some, it's a great way to get them. Oh, I should have taken that purple first. Whoops. Your son does your Ironhawk grind? Oh gosh. That's funny. I know when leaderboards used to matter more, some people used to like rotate one account so that they can make first place on leaderboard. So it'd be like 2 or 3 people playing one account so that you can make leaderboard on that account. I'm not sure if that's really done much these days because most of the leaderboards don't matter as much. In the current state of the game, compared to how much they used to. But, I'm pretty sure some amount of people still do it. I think that's technically against the game rules, however, that's not really something they can ban for, realistically. Because unlike something like botting's very obvious when it's happening. Whereas something like an account being used by multiple different people is a lot harder to track. Because in a lot of cases, there's no way to track it at all, especially if it's on the exact same device and everything. What if an event had you fight gnomes every single match? That basically was an update that came a year ago. It's called Gnomapalooza. It came out last summer, so it's almost been a whole year now. In a couple months it will be. But, because I believe it was like July or August of last year. But, basically, you find a bunch of verses, 4 different verses, and for a 15-minute duration, every single one of your battles is a 4-gnome fight. So that mechanic technically already exists in the game. It just happens in 15-minute bursts when you find those verses, rather than an entire weekend of it. Though some people have enough hoarded up where you literally could run an entire weekend of Gnomapaloozas. Like right now, I think we're sitting on like 40-something. Yeah, 55. I know there's a lot of people that have way over 100 saved up. Yeah, we're currently on 55. And each one takes like 15 minutes, so every 4 of them is basically an hour. We could run that for essentially an entire day if we wanted to. And not run out an entire day of nothing but 4 times gnomes. And there's the 65 gems with the orb I was talking about. There we go. And that's invasions pretty much. And we're basically done because the guild will probably have the rest in. Might need to do our battles tomorrow night if all the points aren't already in. Speaking of which, let me change over to my invasion. Or not invasion, I meant to do world event. Because I don't think we're done yet. No, we are not. Let's go do it. Oh, you just got another shiny? Nice. Which one? Which one did you get? Oh yeah, I haven't really had time to play Legends Arceus much lately. I think the only thing relevant that I got between the streams was like one of the AFK alphas. Mostly because, you know, you're just not playing most of the time. Didn't get any shinies from them yet. Or at least not another one yet. But yeah, we'll probably do that tomorrow. Think we can squeeze it in. Because we haven't been streaming at all this weekend, so we'll probably do that next 2 days. Still need to cover that tier list as well. Okay. So, event team. Do I need to change anything here? Let me just roll this. Should be fine. It'll be fine. Okay, what do we need here? Throw that down. Oh, I forgot. I was like, wait, why did he just randomly die? We have a little extra damage poke after. I think it's like 5 damage to a random enemy or something. That was actually enough to get a kill. Yeah, we should be able to do like 1 or 2 more Legends Arceus streams. And hopefully it'll add more DLC, because beyond that, I don't think there's anything more we can do. Because the only last thing we'd be able to do is AFK Rifts. Though one thing that would be kind of funny... Oh wait, would I even be able to set that up? No. I'm trying to think. Because you can't play 2 of the things. If I started another playthrough of a game, or was doing something on Steam that was kind of related, we could technically do AFK Rifts while doing something else. I think that would work better with a Steam game though, so that we can have it as a little side viewer. Because that's realistically the only way we could stream Legends Arceus beyond like another stream or 2, is they add more DLC, or we stream it with another game, because we're literally just going to be AFK like 90% of the time. We just need to find another good synergy game for it, if we were to do that. Because the only few shinies we're missing aside from 5, you literally just have to sit around doing nothing for like 90% of the time. Which is good for like AFK farming. But it's not good for stream. I assume they're going to make an update that fixes that a little bit though. Also, hello, Jordan, welcome. You couldn't find an invasion team in your videos. Could you suggest one? I'm using one right now. We mentioned 2 on Monday, though one of them I think was incorrect, as people pointed out. I forgot to double check the thing. But this one's viable. We mentioned it on the Monday video. It's Farge Troll, Truffle, War and Peace, and Leprechaun. This was the cheaper team I mentioned on Monday. It's just the team prior to it I accidentally mentioned as a incorrect team. Whoops. But this one works. You could also go for double truffle route if you wanted to. This one just uses a bit of a mix. Oh, that's a bit of a miss. I need blue here. Oh, invasion? Oh, the invasion team's pinned. My bad. I thought you said world. My bad. But yeah, the invasion team is pinned on the chat. We mentioned that on Monday as well. Though the one on Monday doesn't show the correct weapon. Mostly because the correct weapon came out today. The one in the above me works though. Or not above me. I don't know. Where's chat? Well, technically chat is above me, but I mean the chat in chat. If that makes any sense. It's pinned to the stream currently. In the chat that you're currently chatting in. Yeah, the chat above me doesn't show, but obviously the chat in chat does. If that makes any sense. But yeah, were you guys able to find the stream easily today? Particularly people who are getting here later than the start. Like if anyone's just rolling in. Were you able to find the stream correctly? Because the only thing bad about having to preview so early like we did is YouTube sends out one less notification, and sometimes bugs the notification when we actually do start streaming. So a lot of people might not get the notification. Pretty sure some people mention it in the comment section below after the fact. Someone might. Like, that's always my concern with having it up like super early. Because YouTube loves to just not send out notifications when it should be. Let's see, we'll throw that down. I'm pretty sure most people know when we stream every single day by now. Time, it never changes. Oh, you can't see the pinned message on mobile? I can go repaste it then. I see. Is anyone else not able to see it? Is it just a mobile issue, or is it a, entire thing issue? Oh, there you guys go. Because it was posted a while back, so maybe it just got, like, completely destroyed on everything. Let's see. I can still see it, though. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, can you guys see the pins? Anyone not on mobile? Because last I recall, regardless of how long ago it was sent, as long as you have something pinned, it will still show. Like, we could do a preview like 3 days in advance to a stream, pin it, and it would still be there when the stream actually starts. Whereas a message in chat from like an hour prior might have gotten deleted, but something like a pin stays there until it's unpinned. Oh, well, that was weird. Why wouldn't you let me cast? I was like going off the menu to like try to fix it, but apparently it was just taking a while. The little jiggle. Oh gosh. I still find it funny that they specifically went out of their way to mention in a patch that they fixed that. And to this day, it still has not been fixed. Even though a patch has stated that it has been fixed. I'm kind of glad that it's not fixed though, to be honest. That's one visual glitch I definitely do not mind because it's very funny. Actually, most visual glitches I don't mind too much. It's the ones that waste time that are annoying. And there are still a lot of them. Oh wait, you don't see the teams? Interesting. Are you on mobile though? I'll catch you later, Lucian. Thanks for stopping by. Because apparently mobile just might not be able to see it. I'm not sure. I don't ever watch YouTube on mobile. I do watch YouTube quite a bit, but pretty much never on the mobile version. The only time I think I ever use YouTube in mobile mode is if I'm like on vacation. I think that's like literally the only time I check the mobile version of YouTube. Or the mobile version of anything for that matter. Like Gems of War I play almost entirely on mobile while on vacation too. But on my normal day-to-day basis, I pretty much never use those things on the mobile version personally. They're on mobile and you can see the team pinned. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, it's been pinned there for like the last 18 hours. Based on how many answers the poll had, though, it looks like a lot of people didn't know that the preview was up, which kind of makes sense because we normally don't preemptively post a preview. However, like when I ended up waking up, I think I saw like 5 votes on the poll, and it was already up for like 8 hours or something, if not longer. Obviously, the poll has more votes now. I do need to start pinning whatever team we use on a given day to the thing, though. Like, even if we're not doing it preemptive to the stream, we just need to remember to pin it. So people can copy-paste it. Hey, Isabel, did you ever mention, I missed your chat if you did. What shiny did you end up getting? Oh, you got a Buzio. Okay. Never mind. I saw. You did post it. It just got buried in the other chat. You wonder if you close the poll if the team pin will show up? It is potential that one is blocking out the other. Like, I know in my format right now, both of them are showing up at the top. So it could just be that one of yours is overwriting it format-wise. Because YouTube, somehow, as a multi-billion company, doesn't know how to code correctly. But no, it shows up correctly on my end. Though they both are at the top, so I could see maybe depending on what kind of device dimensions you're on, it could potentially be overriding each other. Because right now, both of them are the same thin, like, blue line at the top of my screen. And if it was to collapse each other on top of each other, one would be completely invisible. So they could have potentially done that on accident. It's probably an issue with some screen dimensions, which might be why it happens on some cellular devices. Or if you're doing, like, a widescreen, like, viewer kind of thing. Or, you know, like, bigger than 1920. Like, if you're doing a small screen or bigger than, like, 1080p. Could end up happening. Anyways, maybe even in the TV mode too. Okay, anyways. Let's go and let's take it on Phoenicia. Grab our daily gems off of here, go take out dungeons, and then we'll continue the mimic runs. We got, wait, did we get 2 or 1 yesterday? No, I think we only got 1. Though we did hit 4 from 4, which is a funny number. A funny number I almost don't want to ruin, but we definitely need to. I completely forget how much grind we had in the current one, though. So I might just start the timer from the top. Didn't we find one right at the end of last stream? I could have sworn we did. Which means the timer would be at 0 anyways. My short-term memory is short enough that I actually completely forget. I completely forget. Oh, you just dismissed the team and now the poll showed up? Or the poll and you've... Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, it might just be a weird thing with some dimensions of screens or something. Because, yeah, they both are at the top of my screen. And if they were over top each other, one would be invisible. That's not how they're currently laid out on my screen, but it would be if they were. Yeah, YouTube definitely makes some questionable design decisions sometimes, that's for sure. One of them, as well, is why on earth is the pole and pinned the same color? You'd kind of think you'd want to do different colors, or even have a whole adjustable color wheel for what you could end up making it. And maybe you default them to the same color if you really wanted to, for convenience sake, but then have the chance to make them different. Or, you know, just don't default them to the same color. Would also be good, so that there's a visual indicator as to what is a poll and what is a pinned message. Which is weird, because I know donations and joins, like their super chat and the join button, those actually do come in a different color. But for whatever reason, poll and pinned are the same color. And all of them have no capability being changed from what they default to. Alright, there we go. Alright, with that out of the way. Oh, I wasn't even using the correct metal setup. Fail. Whoops. Because I was still using the invasion one from earlier. Whoops. Not too big a deal, though. We only did the few battles that were already pretty much being one-shotted anyways. Alright, next. Let's go and hand out a code. And then we'll go mess with mimics the rest of the time. See if we can get anything lucky. Why don't try to find at least one if we can tonight. Ideally. Just need to find my code section, find my code stash, grab a code from the code stash, put that right over there. And here you guys go. Here is the redeem code. So I'm gonna get the link for you real quick for anyone who doesn't know where to use it. And there you guys go. Oh yeah, Isabel, I never did send it to you and Tyrion. But yeah, I can just remind me on tomorrow's stream. I assume Tyrion will be there if he still needs the things. Otherwise, we might need to scrap them for room. He'll probably be around now. Actually, is he here right now? I'm not even sure if he is. I think it was earlier. I could have sworn I said hi to him. Yeah, he was here earlier. Not sure if he's here now, though. But anyways, there's the code, everyone. Use it on gemsofwar.com. If the game code section, your invite code can be found in your settings menu. Whatever game says there is what you put in for invite code. Redeem code's right over there in chats. Copy paste random numbers and letter. Also, hello Bushka, by the way. Welcome, welcome. And you give same word as always. True treasure maps, 1 gem key, 200 souls, 2,500 gold. And give same loot. I just said that. And definitely feel free to leave a like on the stream. Helps out a lot and is greatly appreciated. There you guys go. And only usable on PC mobile version of the game. Anyways, so let's go hunt mimics. I'm gonna go bring up a timer. See how bad our luck is today. Or who knows, maybe we'll finally get the 5x horde mimic. You never know. Let's see how it goes. Let me go bring up a timer. 1 second. Where is my timer? I should really put a launcher on my desktop for the timer. Or even putting on my taskbar thing. There we go. Doesn't take that long to open it though. And now we have a timer. You'll hold it for him. Yeah, we could end up doing that as well if he's not around. That could also work. Also, I wonder if any games are doing anything interesting for Easter this year. I haven't seen any games preparing anything for it. I assume Gems of War will have like a special event calendar next week. I'm not sure if we're getting anything beyond that other than the cute little bunny on Wednesday. And obviously we have some Easter towers right now for this event. And of course we'll get those little Easter skulls and stuff like that. Because they did a special one for the most recent Halloween. So it'll be interesting to see if they do one for Easter. They didn't really do the same for Christmas though this year, did they? Or I should say last year, but you know what I mean. The most recent Christmas. Because they did a really special one for Halloween. But last I recall, they still did stuff for December, but it wasn't like the same way that they did for Halloween. Like we didn't have like an extra special event for it or something. We still got that cool troop and a few other things though. Though I don't feel like it got used much, and I never, even when it came out, I end up saying that it probably won't, even though it's like decent. But I don't know, does anyone even use the triple damage and Tangle Troop? Like it's not bad, it's just so situational to try to put into a team. I have no problem, Imperio, no problem, Logic Slayer, Isabel, and everyone. Enjoy the code. Of course, we'll have another one tomorrow night, as we always do. As long as Kafka keeps providing them and we don't run out at any given time. Sometimes there's an overlap there. Well, it's normally not more than a week if we ever run out. And normally I make sure to ask way far in advance to the point where we can't possibly run out. Or at least that is the goal anyways. It doesn't always happen. But we definitely aim to try to not run out of them. So we can always have one every stream, or every Gems of War stream I should say. That reminds me, you know what game we still never finished? Other than Ring Fit Adventure. But we never did finish Triangle Strategy. I believe we can do it in one more stream. If we start early enough on Sunday, I think we could finish it. Because we're pretty close to what feels like the end. Or at least the end of one playthrough. I'm not sure we're going to be streaming all the playthroughs, though. It's probably going to be like a Fire Emblem 3 Houses kind of situation. Where we stream the very first playthrough, and then we don't stream the rest, most likely. Just because you see a lot of the same stuff over again in the second playthrough. Like, obviously the story is a bit different and stuff like that. Well, like, a lot of, like, the core battling and everything's the same. Maybe just on, like, a slightly different map with slightly different enemies. I always feel like games like those, even if they have, like, a 6 possible paths kind of thing, or something similar, I feel like the first playthrough is, like, the main core one that you get enjoyment from. Because beyond from that, you're mostly just watching different movies play out in a different way. You want to be assured that Sirx Maxwell didn't survive? At this point, I don't think he did. Because I believe we have a full party now in that game. So I think there's a 0% chance he would have lived. Though I hope there's an alternative path to that game where he does live. Though he might just be one of those characters that always dies. Because there were a couple of them in this storyline. That seems like they will die regardless of path. What's the substitute for Flamerfur? Urskea's Crown. Last I recall, you still get it for free from just completing out the Urskea Kingdom. It creates a bunch of red. It's 1 less mana cost and does 1 less red gem creation. It's a bit worse, mostly because of it having not that good of a side effect, but also because it does 1 less gem. It is technically a 1 lower mana cost, which is its advantage over Flamerfur. But it's a perfectly fine alternative. Like, it's not that much different from a mana accumulation standpoint. You could also technically use an explodey weapon, if there's any particular explodey weapon you want to use there. Writhing Staff's also a popular option, like building this team around a Writhing Staff, if you happen to have that weapon. It's a brown-blue weapon that creates skulls and entangles the first enemy. That's funny, I was going to take that for an extra turn and then the game took it for me. Because of how the cascade went. But yeah, that's only one thing kind of annoying with weapons in Gems of War. The rotation time for some of them are so ridiculously long. And there's not any kind of like alternative way to target them when they're not available from something. Which means you can go like months upon months without a particular weapon. Which for the most part isn't too big a deal, but for some of the more meta ones that are actually good, it can occasionally be an issue. I know Rope Dart's one of them. Because unlike Flamerfur, there's not like a 1-to-1 equivalent of something pretty similar to it when it comes to Rope Dart. So if you're missing Rope Dart, you just can't run Rope Dart teams. Or something like Flamerfur, it has close enough alternatives that you're... As well as quite a few other weapons. Like in the mana accumulating weapons, like even if you don't have the most optimal one, like there's so many that you'll find one. And like Flamerfur, Urskea's Crown kind of works that way, and a few other things. But there are a few that just do not have an alternative. Like, oddly enough, even Life and Death has an alternative. It isn't as good as Life and Death, obviously. But there is another double true damage hitting weapon. Not to mention, you could technically just use Rope Dart too if you had that, but not Life and Death. But something like Rope Dart doesn't have a direct equivalence. Because the main thing with Rope Dart is, other than its movement thing, is its extra turn capability. Which is a huge part of how most Rope Dart teams function. So it can replace things that are true damage related and true damage teams, but you can't do vice versa. Like Rope Dart can replace a true damage weapon, but you can't replace a true damage weapon with Rope Dart. It only works one way. I mean, you can't replace Rope Dart with a true damage weapon, I mean. I think I said that in inverse order. I think you know what I meant, though. Like, you can replace the true damage weapons with Rope Dart, but you can't replace Rope Dart with a true damage weapon. Because most of the team compositions just don't work that way. Like, for example, you can't replace Rope Dart in Mother of Darkness team with Life and Death. Like, you could try to. It's going to be way less effective, though, because you're losing your extra turn capability, which the team desperately needs. However, something like a Weaver Rope Dart team... Actually, that's actually a bad example. That's actually the one instance where you cannot replace for Rope Dart, because Weaver needs the thing that's hit with true damage to be in the last 2 slots, and Rope Dart brings it to front. So actually, that's one... I literally mentioned, like, one of the only exceptions. I'm trying to think of a different team, though. I don't know, what's a true damage team with a hero weapon where Rope Dart can actually replace it? Actually, I guess it doesn't work the other way either. Well, I guess it depends on the team. It's just, when it comes to true damage weapons, the two that are really good are nearly the exact opposite of each other. Because the two best are obviously Life and Death and Rope Dart. Because Rope Dart basically a true damage weapon. Life and Death hits the last 2 enemies, and Rope Dart does the exact inverse. It can hit anything, but it drags them to first slot. Basically meaning, in theory, it's hitting the first slot enemy. Because whatever it's hitting is the new first slot. So they kind of do true damage in the exact inverse method. What do we need here? I want purple. I can't take purple, though. Oh, I didn't see your question. How much total in gems is a Tuesday event for tier 7, 7 times? I believe it's the same as a weekend event, isn't it? It's 1,100? No, 1,000... oh, you said 7 times, my bad. It's 2,510. I'm pretty sure it's 2,510 gems. Because 7 would cost you 1,400 more, and the default is 1,110. So it'd be 2,510 total. So basically 2,500 gems, basically. Because a Tuesday event does not cost any cheaper than a weekend-long event. You're still paying the same price. Yeah, it's 2,510 gems to do what you said. And if you're looking to do a Tuesday faction, that's about the ballpark of how much you'd probably spend for a pure faction. Because you generally do some amount of rush method, if not the entire thing. Though if you do the entire thing, it's going to cost you closer to 3,000. Or, you know, if you do skip method literally the whole time. Normally, you do non-skip up to like 200-ish just to get some free Val Ravens. So you save several hundred gems, and then you start skipping the rest of the time. So if you're really on a pinch for time on a Tuesday, you could just spend like 3,000 and get it done in like 2 hours. Which is actually a quick amount of time for an event like that. 2 hours might not sound like a quick amount of time. But for a 500 pure faction, that is actually towards the quicker side. Oh, nothing good. But our mimic luck has been all over the place lately. There have been some hours we've been doing good. There's been some hours where it has been taking multiple hours. I do wish the mimic drop rate would be ever so slightly increased, though. I hope they do look into tweaking it. It and Curse Gnome still feel slightly too rare. So the Curse Gnome one doesn't matter as much, for the most part. Because once you've done all the unique rewards, there isn't too many good things to really use them on. Which almost makes them a dead currency. Not exactly a dead currency, but like less so than other dead currencies. Because it still has a purpose, technically. But even the things that are like really good that you would use them for, like let's say metal conversions, those actually use the least amount of those resource, to to function that way. You got more verse 2 and Cursed Gnomes than this awful Mimic. Oh gosh. That is very likely to happen. Well, maybe not for Cursed Gnomes. I believe the Mimic actually is more common than a Cursed Gnome. At least not during a Vault event. During a Vault event, it's the other way around, where Cursed Gnome is more common. But when it's not a Vault event, it's actually more common to get a Mimic than it is to get a Cursed Gnome. Cursed Gnome is actually that low of a drop rate. However, it's increased by quite a bit when a Vault event is around. Especially if you're doing a Gnomapalooza, of course. Alright, no problem for the code, Lester. You got 2 Cursed Gnomes today, but no Mimic? Oh gosh. That is both lucky and unlucky. Actually, speaking of which, isn't the thing on the Steam still at 0%? Has it still not budged? Because I'm pretty sure it still has not budged. Let's see. That's not how you check that. Where am I going? Let's see. Is it still at 0%? That's not how you check either. Aha. It is at 0! It's obviously more than 0. But it's such a low percent that it doesn't even register as a decimal over percent. Which I find very funny. Either Steam has a weirder updater for it, or I guess people play the Steam version the least out of every version, which I find kind of surprising. I guess it's because on people on PC Mobile, I guess a good majority of them are mobile more so. Though even with that being said, there's still like 1,000 something playing on Steam right now, right? Pretty sure there is. Yeah, there's like 1,000 something. Exactly 1,000 something. Let's see, I'll throw that down. Because I'm starting to think like the Steam version is the least played version of this game. Because everyone on Xbox and PlayStation is like, oh yeah, it's already at a 0.1 and 0.2%. I'm not sure if mobile has an actual percent tracker, but I'm pretty sure it's at like 0.3. And Steam's still at like the 0%. So unless it's tracked differently, looks like the active player base isn't as much on Steam. Which is kind of funny because that's actually like the only version I ever play. For the most part. Like 99% of my time, if not more, has been on the Steam version. Hey, Anu, nice. Your account has RNG in reverse. Possibly. Oh, also, on the poll that's on this stream, I think I'm going to keep doing it how we've been doing it, but I'm going to keep pinning the message. So we're going to do like a nice little middle ground, where I think I'm going to still keep posting the stream preview, like pretty much right before stream actually starts, so that the notification works better. However, we will still keep pinning the teams, as long as I remember. Because that's something really easy to do. We just click copy paste once and there we go. And maybe put some text in front of it that says what it is. The one right there says invasion team. And if anything else, I can literally grab it from the Monday video sometimes. Because the Monday video already has all that typed out, so I could literally just go to the video, click it, copy it, boom, paste. Because for most things during the duration of a week, you just copy paste it directly from there. The only one that doesn't work necessarily is the Friday ones. Because the Friday ones, like today, for example, there was a weapon that you would not have had access to until the Friday actually started. And bounty hunters like that, a few of them are. But not all of them. Like, normally raid and evasion teams you can completely cover without the weapon. Though this was one time where the weapon was actually pretty good for it. The weapon normally does have pretty good synergy for it, but it's not always the most optimal way. Even this time around you could have probably went without it, but I figured we'd try with it. But yeah, next update for Gems of War is probably within the next month too. It feels like we just had one pretty recently, because this Mimic patch that we've been hunting like crazy, and are still hunting for, well, of course, was the biggest thing in the previous patch. But we do have another one around the corner. It's not going to hit before Easter, I know that for sure, though. But before the end of the next month, we'll definitely have it. I'm pretty sure it's early or midway through next month. We don't have an official date yet, though. Because the last few, they've been doing some pretty interesting things with some of the patches. So curious to see what the next big major patch will end up being. Because all of them have pretty much had something really good for grinding. Hello, Supernova. Welcome. Who knows? Maybe we're finally going to get a balance patch. You know, that thing that used to exist. Actually, that's one thing I'm kind of curious with Pokemon. Now that I've been starting to get back into Pokemon a little bit, I've been kind of looking at like the competitive scene of Pokemon and everything, and like kind of like learning some things with it here and there. And one thing I've noticed is I'm kind of curious what rebalance they do for Pokemon, because Pokemon actually, which is kind of funny because Pokemon is very similar to Gems of War in a few ways, in that the number of options is about the same, because Pokemon has around 900 or so. Gems of War is, of course, at around 1,100 something. And it's also updated balance-wise in the same way, in that Pokemon only really rebalances every generation, which normally means it goes around 3 years or so, if not 4 years, until it balances again. And Gems of War at this current rate is pretty much its rebalance schedule. Because the last time we've had a major update was, or rebalance I should say, was a little over 2 years ago. Actually, wasn't it 2019? Yeah, it was December 2019, so like 2.5 years ago. Which means their rebalancing schedule is basically the exact same way that Pokemon functions. Though it makes more sense that Pokemon would. It doesn't make as much sense why Gems of War would balance that way, because a live service would normally want to balance more often. It makes sense why Pokemon would, because, you know, it's more of a, like, tri-yearly thing, kind of, when they do, like, a big new release, and then every big new release gets rebalanced. Let's see, I'll take that down. Maybe we're finally gonna get the class tier list, I know, right? I've been meaning to. Soon, TM. I want to cover a tier list for pretty much everything. Like, even a weapon tier list. Weapon tier list is gonna be a little bit weird, though. Because I'll probably have to exclude the lowest 3 weapons, even though there are a few very rare exceptions. Which I might include the very rare exceptions. I don't know, maybe we would do it for all. The problem is there's a lot of like waste of space weapons out there. That if we had it in a tier list would just take up space without giving much info. We could also tier list per typing. Like, I've only ever covered Mythic tier lists. I have never actually covered a tier list for anything other than Mythics from a troops perspective. It's just a little bit harder to kind of tier per rarity. Because obviously you have to compare the rarity to itself. But like, S tier commons, with very few exceptions like Thrall, are obviously nowhere near like even a B tier mythic most of the time, or a B tier legend. There are some exceptions. There are some very rare exceptions where they're like S++ tier in the current state of the game. But aside from those few outliers, it's a little bit weirder to tier because you have to tier it against itself. Or, you know, you'd have to tier the... You have to tier the rarity against itself rather than comparing it to the entirety of the game. Because the average common or rare obviously does not really stand up to a average or even a below average legend in a lot of situations. Like, there are exceptions. But, particularly the mana accumulating ones. But, like, let's say a damage source. Like, the average rare damage source can't even touch, like, a mid to low tier mythic as a damage source. Which is only one weird thing about tiering it, because if you tier it across the entire game, the average rare is probably like a D tier. Like an average damage source rare. But then you compare it to its own tier, and you'll have, like, some kind of damage source that's, like, nearly S tier. Because some of them just have like an absurd boost ratio that allow them to do a lot. It's mostly the ones that are like auto-win arena kind of things. Though I would be comparing them more so to the game itself, not to arena. Because that's one weird thing about tiering troops as well. Is do you account for arena? For the 4 lower rarity ones? Because that's not an issue with like legends or mythics because they don't exist in arena. But something that's good in arena isn't necessarily good in the base game. Because there's quite a few things that are ultra broken in arena that you would never use in any context in the main game. How many troops do you think are realistically used and are good? Out of the 1,100 troops, I would definitely say less than 1/3 are like viable or used. Like to any regularity. And the biggest issue with that is a lot of damage sources and a lot of mana accumulators are invalidated by other damage sources and other mana accumulators. Like Leprechaun alone invalidates probably like more than half the mana accumulators in the entire game. Just it itself existing. Combine that with Thrall and Thrall-like troops, and you've already eliminated down like, hey, we got a Mimic, found it. You already eliminated down like 80%, if not more, of the mana accumulators. And then you count all the other empowers, and now you just eliminated like 95% of any mana accumulator. Alright, let's go take our Mimic. And then we'll probably call it a night for now, because I wanted to go until we kept getting a Mimic, or, you know, until we got a Mimic. And we got one. Hopefully it has a Horde Mimic. Can we please be done with the grinds? I want to be done with the grind before next patch comes, so in case something is grindy in next patch, I want to be able to grind that instead of Mimics. Just give me the Horde Mimic, please. Please, 5 times? No, boo. Oh, double Anu, yay, okay. It knew it was the final chest. We got our double Anu, or daily Anu. No, we already got like 1 billion Anus this stream. Which is kind of funny, because I actually just medaled a legend this stream, and we've gotten half the medals back for medaling. Oh, that's not true, because I used 5 of them. I used 5 medals, not 5 tokens. So theoretically, we got like 1/9 of the amount of Anu I used this stream back. Hey, 1/9 still better than 0. Oh, there we go. I forgot. Those are tokens, not medals. Anyways, let me go fix my Mimic count. Oh, I gotta ruin my 444. I don't want to ruin the 444. Oh, boo. There we go. We no longer have 444. It's now 454. Ah, there we go. But anyways, guys, I think we'll wrap it here. We'll be back tomorrow night, same time as always, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 hour prior to now tomorrow, as we do every night. I'll mostly be messing around with finishing up invasions, and the rest of the time we'll kind of just be messing with the Mimic grind, most likely. Then on Sunday we'll go over the preview stuff. We should have midday streams as well this weekend for other games. Tomorrow we're probably going to be doing Legends Arceus. And then Sunday will be probably finishing up, or ideally finishing up. I'm not sure how much longer it is, because we're doing a blind playthrough. So I'm not even sure, like, duration-wise, how long the game is. But we should hopefully be finishing up Triangle Strategy, or at least getting very, very far into, like, the end game storyline. So if you want to see the climax of that movie, the tactical RPG that is basically 90% movie, feel free to stop by. I'll try to tune everyone into what you might have missed lore-wise, and we'll go from there. Because that might be the final stream. It's either going to be second to last or last stream. It seems like we're pretty close if we do a long enough stream for it to be the last stream, though. Though we're probably up to some really long, hard fights, though, soon. What kingdoms has the most red troops? It's not Pride Lands. I actually can't remember off the top of my head which one it is. Pride Lands is still a pretty good location for it, though. Like you're gonna be fine just doing it Pride Lands. It's one of those colors where the pure color for it doesn't have as good of an option. Like compared to like yellow or purple or brown or something. They have some pretty concentrated kingdoms, green. Like honestly, I think the red might actually be the worst concentrated one. But yeah, Pride Lands is perfectly fine though. I actually can't remember the one that is like ever so slightly higher. But the biggest issue with it is that no kingdom has like a super ultra concentration of red, which is really weird because at one point in the game, and I think it still is the case, red is actually the most common color in the game, but no single kingdom's ratio, like out of every ratio, I believe red is actually the worst of the 6 colors in the game. Like out of any kingdom that has the most of a single color, I'm pretty sure red is the absolute lowest, which is rather ironic because at one point in the game, and possibly still today, I have no clue what it is today, but at one point in the game, red was the most common color, which is kind of weird that no single kingdom is overly concentrated with red. Or, you know, at least to the same ratio as other colors. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Thank you so much for stopping by. Yeah, but Pride Lands is perfectly fine for that. And I'll catch you guys later. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Goodbye, everyone.